Most people enter social interactions with a specific goal. They want to steer the outcome. Whether it's a high-stakes negotiation or a simple request, moving someone toward a particular conclusion is a constant human dynamic. But standard persuasion often hits a wall because we tend to address the person's public persona. This is a carefully constructed version of themselves, designed to interact with the world while keeping their true motivations hidden. The rigid, symmetrical outer shell represents the facade, while the contrasting, asymmetrical inner shape represents the actual decision-maker. When you try to influence that outer shell, your efforts deflect off. The facade absorbs external pressure, leaving the inner self entirely unaffected. To bypass this barrier, you have to move beyond what they say and focus on what they do. Decoding the person behind the mask is the first step toward having any real impact on their behavior. Human behavior is rarely a perfect performance. Even the most composed person shows a crack where their internal state seeps out through involuntary cues. Effective observation begins when you stop prioritizing the target's spoken narrative. Instead, you look for the specific moments where their physical actions fail to support their words. Our first lens focuses on micro-expressions. These are lightning-fast facial movements that happen before a person can consciously mask them, often revealing a flash of anger or fear that the speaker is trying to hide. By identifying these flashes, you can see exactly where the speaker's internal feelings diverge from the story they are presenting to you. The second lens looks for kinetic contradictions. This occurs when the body betrays a spoken sentiment, like someone claiming to be relaxed while their feet are pointed toward the exit, or their hands are tightly clenched. Driven by the autonomic nervous system, a person feeling stress or deception pulses with involuntary signals. When several cues happen at once, they form clusters, marking the specific subjects that cause the target's public mask the most strain. Using these two lenses allows you to identify which parts of a conversation are honest and which are merely part of a rehearsed persona. While immediate contradictions are telling, true insight comes from tracking behavior over a longer period to see how it changes under different conditions. The third lens is the behavioral baseline. This is how the target acts in a neutral, low-stakes environment, where they have no reason to be on guard. This waveform represents that baseline, establishing a reference point for their truth. The fourth lens is the deviation. Once established, any sudden shift becomes a significant signal. Connecting these deviations reveals their internal architecture, showing what they value, fear, and what drives them. This analysis works best when it is done silently. If the target knows they are being watched, they will change their behavior, which destroys the accuracy of the data you've gathered. By combining these four lenses, you replace guesswork with a documented history of how this person actually responds to the world around them. Following this process provides a much clearer view of the target. As this glass bust suggests, the goal is to look past the surface and see the underlying mechanics that dictate their choices. This level of detail makes it possible to predict how they will react to specific information before you ever present it to them. Without this understanding, any attempt to move someone toward your goal is a shot in the dark. You are fighting against a defensive mask that you don't fully understand. But with a map of their true motivations, you can frame your requests so they align with the target's internal logic. You are no longer pushing against the shell. You are speaking to the person inside it. When your influence matches their internal drivers, the target is more likely to agree because the choice feels consistent with their own perspective. Consistent observation provides the necessary intelligence to navigate complex social interactions. It is the groundwork required to ensure that when you speak, you are addressing the person's real self, not just the mask they wear.